We're ready for our third question. Third question is probably a fairly short segment because you probably don't have many experiences where collaboration, didn't work out. But just give us some examples, if you would, without, again, necessarily naming names, but give us an idea in terms of what are some situations where you've experienced collaborations that have worked out very well, as well as, what are some of those collaborations that really did not work well, and also if you could identify perhaps some of the characteristics. You mentioned some of those issues already, but some of the characteristics of those collaborations that you feel cause them to be good or bad.
I'm just going to say this, like I made a statement earlier about sometimes you've been a small business and you look at that big business and you think, oh God, they're doing quite well. Everything that glitters is not gold. And if you think that you downplay your business because it's so small, and you look at this giant, you may be doing financially better than the giant. So you have to look at, they want your paperwork, you need to look at their paperwork too. Never downplay your business.
From the collaborative standpoint, I'm talking from my business, we do environmental consulting, project management, remediation. And we've been in business since 1997. And within those years, most of our collaborative efforts have been successful. We've had one that was not. And the reason for that was we was with a large company and they were very greedy. And what they did is what was agreed upon in our contract. They decided that they could do those things in-house. So, well, why do I use them to land. Many times you're used because you're female, because you're a minority, because of your skill set for whatever. So you have to be extremely careful with that. So once they got the contract and they used us maybe for a year, they decided they didn't want us anymore. So that was a bad collaborative effort. Now, there was a recourse because I did have a contract in place, but because of the entity, which I won't really share who the company was, a public a state organization, but because of the relationship that I had with the owner, I did not make a scene, which I could have, but they were aware of what I did tell them is that this is the situation, this is what happened. So if at some point I wanted to take a recourse against them, I could, but what that taught me is that I won't work with this company again. So the next time the contract was up for renewal, they came back. And what you say is I'm not interested, because it doesn't work, it doesn't matter if you're working with a large company and you're not making money. At the bottom, people have to respect you. I said they may not like you, but you always want to gain respect, because if they respect you, respect who you are and what you're doing, eventually they will come back. You may not be the popular one, but they know that if you say you're going to do something, you do it. So that was just the one experience that we had, and I think we've been very fortunate in that we haven't had a lot of bad incidents. And I think one of the reasons we don't just jump and work with everyone, even if they say, if it's a large corporation and I want to work with you, well, if it's not profitable for AEC, then sometimes you say no. And it goes back to, you were talking about finances, and we realize that financials are crucial. What I tell business owners, build a good foundation. Started AEC in 1997, and we were fortunate, like Henry said, we put capital, did a promissory note, put capital into the company of your own personal assets. And as we grew, worked out of the house, did that for a couple of years to build, decrease overhead, and to any dollars that we got, put it back into the company. So build a good, solid foundation, build a good stability, bought the equipment that was needed to do what we do, and didn't need to have to go to, was fortunate in that I'm not in construction, so was fortunate in that I didn't have to go to a bank for a loan. So as money's profits that we made, just rolled it back into the company, such that when I went to a bank, that credit score was where it should be. And what they do is, do you need a loan of credit? So, and I always say, and this is something kind of going off on a tangent, always establish a good relationship with your bankers. Let them know you. We talk about collaborative efforts. That is crucial because money is, what is it? Money is king, or money is cash. Cash cash is king, and that's true. So what I did is establish relationships with different banks, went to about 3 or 4 different banks, and put a few dollars there. You get to know them, they get to know you, and your credit score is good. So each one says, well, do you need a line of credit? Well, no, at that point in time, I did not. But what I did is I took out a line of credit, and I would pull dollars out and pay it off, you know, and each time they increase your limit. So there are ways, even when you're small, but you have to think it's about building a strong, solid foundation. And when you do that, and you go to the table with some of the big guys, because their cash flow may not be like a startup, it may not, and I found that out. Sometimes it may be a Yates Construction, but they may not be liquid. And when you're liquid, you can make decisions about whether or not you want to team with company A or not. And then you can help others. You know, you can be, why does it have to be a big company that can help other minority firms? If it's one of your friends, goes back to collaboration. If this is Mr. O'Quinn, and if I have the resources and I know what type of guy he is, because it goes back to ethics and values, and I know that he does good work, and if he needs something, why can't we do what banks do? That's collaboration. Why can't we help each other? We set up an agreement, we set up a terms of payment. That's what we have to do collaboratively, because it goes back to the dollars, and that's how we help each other. And I know I went off on a tangent, but I was trying to kind of bring it back in as to what businesses need. How do you build that strong foundation that helps you to go to those different levels?
I'd like to say something that Rich brought forward about what do you bring to the table, you know, you gotta know what you bring to the table and what's the value of that. And if both parties are aware of what each person brings and what they wear, you're more likely to have a good relationship. Another thing, marriages don't last forever. Mm-hmm. And so you ought to have some goals in your mind. While I'm doing this collaboration, what is my end result? Am I getting some skills? Am I making contacts so that when this collaboration might end, good or bad, okay? What have I really gained? Not just this one contract, but what is going to benefit me in the future. And it could be capacity building, it could be training, whatever. And so that's what I think can make a good collaboration.
See, we tend to think of collaboration as an event. Collaboration is a process, okay? And you're looking at this process. How can I make this a sustainable process? Most of you know, most of my life was in the military, so I still think very militarily. I think about strategic collaboration. You know, you shouldn't collaborate with anyone for everything. You know, if you're looking strategically, you're trying to find those partners and those relationships that's going to help you to take you out 10, 15, 20 years. They're not the same people that I would say that you would look tactically. Tactically mean, how am I going to execute this particular contract, this series of contracts? You need a whole different set of collaborators when you're looking at it from a tactical standpoint. Then you look operationally. I'm within this contract, and when you're looking operationally at collaborative, you're looking almost internal to your organization, or who else might you make a part of your organization. So my point here is this. You know, we use the term collaboration like we're going after something. As Henry is saying, you're setting up a process that should outlive this particular event, or if it was just geared for this particular event, that's an operational relationship. And just like you said with marriages, I mean, well, marriages may not be a good one because we like to think marriages. I was reading this song, they jump up and go answer their phone. That's my marriage in time. After 40 years, I still wow. But the point here is, some collaborations, they are for a time, and then you let them go. Okay, and because sometimes we hang on to the same people. And we started saying, well, let's go after something else. No, that was for that. Now, there's someone else there that's gonna help me to get that particular thing, will help me to get further.
With me, I establish relationships. And because of what I do in helping small businesses, it's establishing relationships that have to go on for not just this event, but for years and years.
Right.
There's some relationships with different entities, the Peaceful Air Force Base, Vicksburg Corps of Engineers. In fact, everybody here, I think I've been knowing you guys right at 20 years or more. I won't say how long, but it's because of that relationship that it's not just because that one event to collaborate. You have to think about years and how we can bring it together and help each other. And we are constantly sharing information because new things are constantly going on. So when I think about collaboration, I don't think about just this one event. I think about establishing relationships.
Michael, can I just, you asked a question about a successful collaboration. I think about it now, if you recall, I know I came to Mississippi in 1993, and that was the first time that I was involved with a statewide procurement conference. And that procurement conference was a collaboration between the Procurement Technical Assistance Program and the SBA and the Small Business Development Centers. Later on, we were able to bring the state more into it. Now the state procurement officials are a part of it and more involved with the business. This has been since at least, I got involved in '93, but it keeps growing. This is a collaboration that shows, hey, here is how people work together. But why are they working together? They're working together because they have a shared vision to be able to create procurement opportunities for Mississippi companies. And to me, that's a critical element. If you don't have a shared vision on whatever it is you're trying to collaborate on, it is not going to work. Okay? And that's what has kept that going, because everybody had the same focus. We want to help people get government contracts.
I want to really say a little something more about what Rich has done, even though he started in '90, but this thing has grown so much. I mean, it's outside the state of Mississippi, but it started with Rich in '93. I'm glad he's able to say year, because I knew it was in '90-something. But it has grown beyond Mississippi. And that's because he had a vision. And the vision is still growing. And that's what I call collaboration. And he really planted the seed, and that seed is grown now, and it's everywhere. Everybody's coming to these procurement events, and one is in May, and it started with Rich Estates. Really.
That completes us for the